Good evening, everyone. We'll just start. Thank you all for joining us. I'd like, first of all, to thank Harvinder for facilitating this Zoom meeting. Thank you very much, Harvinder, for doing that. Great teamwork there. And I'd like you to please welcome Brendan Merrick, who is the CEO of the New World Alliances, who is going to talk to us about everything to do with the New World Alliances and how they can help us and how we can help them as well. Thank you very much. Over to you, Brendan.
David, hi, thank you very much. And first of all, thank you everyone for your time. I know your time is valuable and you've had to start this at the god-awful time of 9 p.m. in the UK. Well, I'm 7 a.m. in the morning, crazy world. And unfortunately, we have certain barriers to put up with, and one of them is time. So this is not about time. So this is about the New World Alliances. Um, can I get an understanding here of who was at the call last week? The people that were here? Okay, good. Are there any brand new people here that have never heard of New World Alliances? Katrina. Hi, Katrina. Okay, please bear with us and just understand that it is late. I understand that. And what I'll be able to do is with anybody here who's brand new, David, I'm prepared to do a one-on-one after this with anybody, okay? Because we're at a very, very strategic point of this planet's history at the moment. And what's going to get us through the winning gate is for everybody to understand what New World Alliances is, how we fit in with the UN, which is the being the crucifix and the vampire stakes out situation. I understand that, but after tonight, I'm pretty sure that you will all better understand that we are not, I repeat, we are not in the UN, we're of the UN. Okay, which gives us a much more powerful position than the people in the UN that have contracted to the corporation. Now, we don't make them wrong, okay, because it's important to understand that if we are going to bring this world to a point where it's going to be in a better condition, it's going to have to be doing it with all parties concerned. If you look at what's happening in the Middle East at the moment, it's still a bit edgy, but the only way that that peace can come about is with all parties coming to a table and deciding to work together and put up with the indifferences and learn to tolerate each other. They don't love each other, you know that, I know that, but they're at least in a position now where they can tolerate each other better. Okay, so we're going to cover tonight the ordinance, which is freely available on the website. You can download it and read it. David will bring it up. Not quite yet, David, but you bring it up. And then we're going to discuss another document which I've just written and posted out to a very appreciative audience that actually around the world that actually now more understand how our UN affiliation works. And as a result, we've now been inundated with people who want to join the NWA, which is great news. The big barrier, I think, was the UN. We even have strong legal, lawful advisors that always held a little bit of a hand up saying, whoa, this thing with the UN. And we appreciate that. And we feel we've honored them by bringing forward this document. And I will release the second document tonight, and you'll have oohs and ahs for the next 3 weeks, but it is true. And you'll understand that you are absolutely blessed today to be a part of the New World Alliances. And I am too, really. That's why I'm here. I'm here as a CEO. My viewpoint is that I look down and I service everyone below me. I don't want to command anybody. That's old think. This is about service, service, service. Addressing your problems, teaching me and the upper echelons of the New World Alliances, call it that way, what is going on in your area, because we're not on the ground, but we do know something in the last 3 weeks, David. We've sat down and done an evaluation, and even Sir Larry's been with the House of Lords, and this this here is the Battle of Britain 2. This is the Battle of Britain being revisited again. You're not stopping an enemy coming in, you're stopping an enemy that's already there. This is another situation where we've got to convert that enemy somehow back into a sane operating basis. It's a lot of work ahead of us. I can assure you of that right now. We have similar situations in Australia, but you might as well look at your world right now, and I'll tell you something, it's a laboratory. That is what planet Earth is right now. It is a human laboratory. And you've got experiments being hit at you, and how these opposition, call it opposition, I hate the word, how they operate is they pick out countries. It's almost like sitting in a room. You know the game of Risk? Everybody played the game of Risk, where you sit down and you say, oh, well, I want that country, that country, that country, that country. And this particular echelon of people will sit down and say, right, we're going to put this experiment in Sweden, this one in Norway, this one in Germany. We're going to do the censorship thing let's do it in France. Okay, do you understand now? So they run all these experiments. We don't know what is happening in every corresponding country because we're now fed by the mainstream media very cleverly. You've got to admire your enemies, okay? Exactly what they want us to know. And what they keep away what they don't want you to know. So you've got an image of what's happening around the world that they want you to perceive. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So now this experiment is to check the reaction. And it could be something as simple as Brazil getting in and creating problems with the tribes there about the forest. And what they're looking for is, what is the reaction of the people to a certain event that we can create? Are they docile? Are they awake? Because silence equals consent. And if they get enough silence in that area, they package it up with a bow. And every area in the world that has a forest gets an experiment. One of the things we're dealing with, you cannot believe this, in Africa at the moment, is we have tribal chiefs there selling their forests to Arab oil billionaires. Why? Because it's going to get the Arab oil billionaires carbon credit points that they need to keep their oil operations operational. Can you see the evil in this? Then you've got the Chinese, the Russians, and the Americans all vying for power in Africa right now. I know that because I deal with the world affairs as well, and this stuff comes across. And this is not mainstream media. This is direct, okay, as what's going on in the world. So we have countermeasures that we put into effect. How does the New World Alliances operate? It operates by taking their laws and countering their laws. So when they attack back, they're attacking themselves. Because if they want to close us down or stop our ordinances, our charters, guess what? They're going to close down all their operations as well. Now, do you understand the modus operandi? Now, this used to be a a private strategy. And I basically this week said, to hell with it. We're going full tilt now because they are going full tilt. They are planning all kinds of nonsense at the moment around the world. And you'll learn tonight how more safer you are as a New World Alliance ambassador. So, David, I want you to bring up the first letter, please, because I need to clarify with everybody about the UN. Is everybody okay with that? And we'll cover it all. Any questions before we go in? I mean, I've made some very open statements here, but any questions from anybody before we show that document? Okay. I'm watching the clock, everyone. I won't go over the 2 hour mark, but if you have to go to sleep, it is recorded, okay, and I'm available for one-on-ones as we fit them in around around the clock. Okay. All right, can we expand that because I've still got to sort my eyesight out. Okay, this is a letter that I went ahead. I've been doing this research over a period of time. This was sent out to all peace ambassadors, administrative legionnaires. Our administrative legionnaires are those that just want to help and offer their time to do a little bit of admin for the New World Alliances. Our Peace and Trade Treaty members, which you'll learn about the Peace and Trade Treaty, which is another level of protection. The Global Ambassadors Diaspora, these are the people that actually go and do a little bit more inter-country work, intergovernmental work. Special envoys, these are the very special ambassadors that take our message to the kings and queens and royalty, government level, etc., etc. The royal envoys, we are slowly but surely building up a royalty level of kings and queens and princes and princesses, chiefs and chieftains that we honor, and we have them now with their special membership, which is working very well. And of course, our plenipotentiary ambassadors, which is where we want you to all aspire to get to, which gives you the ability to actually negotiate peace and trade treaties between countries, institutions, etc., etc. Now, there's lots of training on this, but I will go through this step by step with you. We're not going to discuss the ambassadors today. What we're going to look at is, and I'm going to read this out and tell you that every single time I was spending 8 hours a day answering people's queries on the United Nations. So I thought, now that's it. I've got to sit down and research it. I've got to bring a document. This document will be made available to you by David, not a problem if you haven't already got it. So, New World Alliances and its relationship with the United Nations. Is the New World Alliances part of the United Nations? New World Alliances is recognized by, but not contractually bound to, the United Nations. In the early development of NWA, we had the IMF actually directly come to us, the World Bank, more Larry than me, Larry Swart, and offer us contracts of 120,000 US dollars a month and diplomatic community passports and goodness knows what else. And Larry said, do we have to contract with you? And they said, of course you have to. Larry said, no, thank you. We're not falling into your trap. So we went ahead to get our own passport, which is now underway, by the way. Again, we've learned how to do it. But the situation was we had the EU Parliament saying to Larry, we'll give you passports. We'll give you diplomatic immunity under the EU. So Larry said, fine, what's the cost? He's not stupid. Oh, we just want to put the chip in the passport. Larry said, what chip? Well, we can guarantee you that we will exempt NWA from getting a chip in their bodies, but we do have to have the chip somewhere. So Larry said, no chip, no negotiations. Sorry, we don't want your passport. And then the United Nations Security Council said, no, we'll adopt this, but we just have to have our watermark in your passport. Larry said, why? Well, it's just the right thing to do. So Larry said, no, thank you. So we are recognized by, but not contractually bound to the United Nations, which means that we're able to walk in and out and come out safely. Some people walk in and don't come out as well as they should, if that makes sense to you. It operates as an independent global alliance of peace, trade, and humanitarian initiatives that aligned with the founding intent of the UN Charter 1945, namely the promotion of human rights, peace, and security. Now, listen carefully, while remaining outside the administrative or financial control of the United Nations organization. Does that make sense to everybody? So we're in, but not of. All right. NWA maintains observer and cooperative standing under international customary law and diplomatic protocol, allowing it to interact with UN agencies, missions, and governmental bodies without surrendering its sovereignty or entering binding corporate style contracts. So that leaves us outside of their games, but allows us to go in and work to negotiate on behalf of the people, because up until now, I can tell you something, nobody outside of those contracts and the golden handcuffs that comes with them have been able to enter those hollowed halls through the Lucius Trust, which is the Luciferian Trust, and all these funny little woogly things that they have operational, and get to state the world's position. We do. And we don't have to go in there with black robes and red paint on our faces and honor this and honor that. We go in there as free beings, and we leave as free beings. So what does the UN but not of it mean? In the UN but not of it, all right? This phrase expresses NWA's diplomatic alignment with the UN's founding ideals, not its bureaucratic structure. Now, when Sir Larry negotiated this in the beginning, and the reason Sir Larry can do this is because he himself has a Habsburg bloodline. He has another bloodline as well, which won't bring up at this meeting. But the thing is that he is on the side of good. A lot of the Illuminati, as we've known them, the Cabal, etc., there's a huge split at the moment in that area, a massive split, where there are certain factions that want to destroy 90% of the population and have the rest of the 10% as slaves. And this is what you're experiencing with all these experiments at the moment, the digital ID. You can't fly out of the UK, you can't do this. It's, whatever you hear you can't do and you have to do, it's not the good side. Make sense? Those are the two triggers you've got to look at. So this phrase expresses NWA's diplomatic alignment with the UN's founding ideals, not its bureaucratic structure. New World Alliances works with the same international framework of law and human rights established by. Every time we produce a document or an ordinance or a peace ambassador card, we back that document with divine, natural, sacred, international law. So anybody that comes after you can't. Because we just turn around and say, that's not us, that's you. You wrote those laws. Right? It's the history. We didn't create the history, there it is. And every time we've done that, there's been a complete silence from the other side. So the NWA works with the same international framework of law and human rights established by the UN Charter of 1945. And please, I'll ask everybody to go and do your own research and do your own studies. I will be doing countless training on the UN Charter, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. There's all documents being created right now. When we came into this position, and Larry said to me, right, you're the CEO, I said, fine. I couldn't find any training for a diplomat. I was searching for an ambassador's PhD or some form of previous educationary material. It didn't exist. So we are now putting together an advanced diploma on ambassadorship. And we've had a couple of countries actually asking us, as soon as you're ready, please come and train our diplomats. So UN Charter 1945, Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948, the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations 1961. However, NWA is not a UN agency, program, or contractor. It acts under its own ordinances, charters, and peace and trade treaties. Everything that's happening on this planet right now is as a result of past treaties. You had the situation where you had the boat that would arrive on the island, and your local indigenous populace would all gather around and get around the fire, and they produce this document, and they call it a treaty, saying, here, he, we own the trees, you own the sea, we won't interfere with the sea, but we own the trees. 50 years later, there were boats coming over from England and chopping down 200-foot, 300-foot trees in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and I've got the proof of that, by the way, and hauling them back to England to help finance the wars against Portugal and France. So this is what we're dealing with, these treaties. So then all these treaties from the past is what the current governances inherit. And then, of course, you get the clever legal side, the barristers and whoever that are paid, and that's their job, to take it and contrive it and do this with it and twist it around. And then it's used for nefarious reasons. And please, not all lawyers, not all barristers are bad. There's always going to be that section of society that causes the problems. And thank God we found out it's a minority of people, but the problem is we've given them so much power. Okay, that's the problem. We've given them the power to actually take us down and take us out. So, however, NWA is not a UN agency, program, or contractor. It acts under its own ordinances, charters, and peace and trade treaties, which are recognized under international and customary law through tacit agreements and Committee of Nations. My glasses. Right. In essence, NWA supports the UN's original purpose. When we first got this gig, I'll call it a gig, right? So Larry came to me and said, we have to write up a document as to what we understand by the UN and why we want to be a part of the UN at that stage. I didn't know very much about the UN in the beginning. All I knew, it was a grand master and everybody listened to them. So when we did the research, we thought, my God, in the original purpose of the UN and what the UN is doing now is actually gone 180 degrees. What they wanted to achieve, okay, was a great goal of peace, security, and financial freedom on earth has absolutely flipped and gone polar opposite to the original purpose. So it acts under ordinances, charters, peace and trade treaties, which are recognized under international and customary law. In essence, NWA supports the UN's original purpose. So we always put the original purpose there. What does that do to them? It drives them scatty because they've already written it. So we keep bringing it up and saying, yeah, but that's your original purpose. anyway, we had to write this document, and we wrote the document, and we were supposed to produce a document. I think it was a page, it ended up with 50, 100 pages. And they turned around to Solari and said, "You didn't tell us that these NWA people are intelligent." So, so Larry said to them, "Well, they are." They said, "Okay, fine, but none of them have got degrees of this or degrees of that." And so Larry said, "No, because what I wanted to make sure I did with the New World Alliances was I was going to give it to the people." Because I've played around with you people and I've played around with your children who sit down. And when I started putting New World Alliances together with Rockefeller, Rothschild, De Morgan, DuPont Jr., which I thought they would be the new generation to change the world, they were sitting around talking about who is buying the next Learjet, who is going to use the most fuel to get to Monte Carlo, etc., and who was going to have the next $1 billion in their bank account. And nothing ever got done. And they were there in their Armani suits, surrounded by females. And I just couldn't operate like that. So I've taken the New World Alliances to the people. And this is where we're at right now, where there's never been an organization like the New World Alliances that welcomes people in, okay, and allows them carte blanche to operate with whatever jurisdiction they want to operate with. We've got no, hey, you can't do heka, teka, mecca. It's like you can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, have what you want to do. We just want to offer you that form of protection which allows you the safety that you can use to get to your goal without everybody trying to chop you down, water you down with hoses, bash your door down, grab your electricity, put the smart meter in, impound your cars. Good God, man, how can you achieve any goal in life if you've got all of that pounding you every day? So, whatever it is that a person's trying to achieve, as long as there's no violation of human rights, we're very, very watchful of that. That's what we're looking for. So, any violation of human rights, God given inalienable human rights, we have our Justice Department that will pounce and hold the feet to the fire of those people that are enacting that particular violation. So, and the UN knows that as well, and they're on their toes at the moment, believe me. I don't want to go into it here. But tacit agreement means very, very simply, while you have your Christmas dinner and you're all celebrating 2026, your government or governance, because governments actually don't exist anymore, there's a governance now that is operating. So your government is told what to do, and if they don't do what they're told to do, and I don't care saying this, there's so much blackmail material on them just waiting to be released to take them down that they just say yes sir, no sir, three bags full sir, and they announce what they have to announce and they get on with their lives. And that's the truth, and we stand by the truth. And we basically are not interested in taking down the politicians, all right, or siding. We believe that you have the right to select your politician of your choice, your political party of your choice, your religion, your faith of your choice, or we've got people that don't believe in anything. And I mean anything. And we're quite willing to say, fine, we respect your religious beliefs or non-religious beliefs, because the only way we are going to bring this world together is to get everybody to tolerate each other and talk to each other, communicate. If you have an idea that you want to express, you don't have to use a baseball bat to get your viewpoint across. You can sit and talk, and if you want to leave the room because you don't like it, that is your prerogative. So we work towards getting people to be in communication. Sometimes there's squabbles, and I laugh because I look at the world burning, and we're like a fire engine heading to a fire to put the fire out, and have to keep on stopping the fire engine, getting out, and handling all these yapping dogs at the tires, right? So our attitude is, God, we've got to keep on moving to put the fire out. There's a huge fire we all have to put out. So we need to concentrate on putting the fire out. All the yapping dogs at our tires, don't worry about them. We can come back and attend to them and pick them up later. We've got to move on now because 2030 agenda is now being concertinaed into 2027. I think you're seeing that now, right? The experiment to go ahead with digital ID, 15-minute cities, oh God knows what else is right on your doorstep, and not just the UK, okay? And you've got to understand that we are working very diligently to intercooperate with everyone and every department that we possibly can. So our progress, our process is not to go into a fighting mode with anybody. All right. So has NWA signed any legal contracts with the United Nations? No, we don't need to. NWA has not entered into any corporate or contractual agreements with the UN or any of its subsidiary agencies. So we're not a corporation. All countries are corporations. That's what happens. So we're not in that same agreement. So we're outside of any of those agreements. But we are respected and acknowledged for what we are in the New World Alliances. And wait, I know you're going to be querying, and I see all the questions flying. But I haven't finished here. So give me a chance to finish, because we're only at question 4, and there's another document that I need to tell you about as well. So what is a tacit agreement, and how does it apply to NWA? A tacit agreement in international law refers to a binding acknowledgement of acceptance of status, authority, or fact through silence, conduct, or continued cooperation, rather than through assigned documents. It is recognized under the Vienna Convention on the Law of Treaties 1969 and in numerous ICJ precedents. When UN departments, states, or intergovernmental bodies correspond with NWA, acknowledge its diplomatic credentials, attend or co-participate in its initiatives, or fail to object within a reasonable time frame, they are deemed to have tacitly recognized the legitimacy of NWA's status, ordinances, and representatives. Do you all understand that? So while you're sitting having your Christmas dinner, a caucus in the parliament arrives with their champagne, and you've got the Labour, the Liberal, whatever it is, the Democrats, the Republicans. All they have to have is a caucus, and they've got this written into their contracts, whatever they are, and they can decide the fate of a nation without having a parliamentary session or anything, by bringing about a law and making it bound to tacit agreement, whereby they put the law into the Gazette, or they put it in the newspaper, or they announce it, which is what they have to do. No one knows about it until you wake up in January and go back to work, and you go, why are the taxes up? And why are the councils now in charge of everything? And why? Because you remain silent. They will tell you, oh, we've announced it. It was up to you to find out what we announced. Now it's law. So you abide by it or you go down by it. So that's your tacit agreement. So when Sir Larry brought out the first ordinance, which please go and download it off the website. It's freely available. And that's another thing. Our new farmers ordinance had to be displayed on our website per law. It's there. You can download it. And Sir Larry took that first ordinance and he sent it to the CIA, the FBI, the KGB. I don't think there was NASA. Whoever on this planet was involved with the actual pandemic, which he knew about, were notified that New World alliances, wait for it, were simply going to be the non-participants in the experiment. Because for an experiment to get away with what it does, it has to have two sides. They are calling it an experiment and getting away with it. Can you see what they do? Right? An experiment. Your council taxes being raised. It's an experiment. Everything's an experiment. And they get away with it because everyone goes silent, numb, and dumb and doesn't bring up, but you don't want to get violent to bang on people's doors or hit them with summonses or anything like that. You want to have peaceful resistance. And the only weapon we have in the New World Alliances is our pens and our initiative and our ingenuity to bring about peaceful negotiation. And boy, that's a weapon they don't like. They don't expect it from the people. And this, by being an ambassador in the New World Alliances, gives you an opportunity to go and gently knock on the council's door, to go to Thames House, which we can arrange for you to get into. If anybody thinks we're not legitimate, how the hell do we get into Thames House? Okay? You understand what I'm saying? We are recognized because within the 5 years, 4 or 5 years that NWA has been operational, not one of us have been arrested. Not one of us have been sued. NWA hasn't been sued on its ordinances because you can't. Well, you can, but it's just, you can't, in other words, because the ordinance is based on their laws. It's based on the precedents of ancient treaties, ancient Sanskrit, ancient this, ancient that, which has no comeback. If you attack the Quran, well, good luck. You're going to have a lot of people on your doorstep. We just quote it in relation to that particular situation, the Bible, this Bhagavad Gita, all these ancient texts, all these Westphalia treaties, the Treaty of Rome, the Treaty of this, the Treaty of that, the declarations, etc., etc. And we back it up to the hilt when we put a document out. Sir Larry said to me that about 2 years ago, he got a call from one of the barristers in the House of Lords who said, "Right, Swat, we're taking you down." So Larry said, "Really? What? How?" He said, "We've got 4 of the best barristers in England on top of you. We're going to bring the New World Alliances down. Give us 48 hours. You might as well pack your bags, take your Learjet, take your offers that we gave you, and continue life." And Larry said, "Nope, I don't do that. I don't sell my soul." So 48 hours later, those particular barristers reported back to the governance, not the government, the governance, and said, "Leave the New World Alliances alone. If you attack this group, you're going to give them more media, more footage than you want. You want to make sure they get no ways of promoting themselves easily." So we were left alone. So if that gives you an idea. So under the principles of self-determination, UN Charter Article, and non-interference, Article 2, so it's all there, go and read it. NWA's ordinance operates as a recognized internal constitution of a sovereign humanitarian entity, not a government, not a corporation. Do you see the difference? So we don't come under their laws. Its enactment and global notice provide standing and legitimacy under the doctrine of tacit recognition and the Comity of Nations. Please go and research that. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Any comments, statements, so I can write it down to make sure that I cover what your query would be. Is this interesting to everybody, how simple it is to take on the stupidity and insanity of a planet in a way of peaceful resistance? Does it in any way affect your own jurisdiction, what you want to do? No, it doesn't. It doesn't say you can't. Okay, it just says there it is. It's a guideline. If you accept it, then that's fine. If you don't, it's okay. We don't have to have you. That might sound bland because we only want people that are willing to be awake enough to basically help themselves, help their families, help the society around them, and help to make the changes that have to happen. We'll be there for everyone through whatever disaster comes about. We'll do whatever we can to help people. But you, by being here, are pretty much on the path to say you don't want to participate in these experiments. I don't. So, question 7, how does the NWA engage with the UN and governments today? Have I left out? Oh, I left out 6, sorry. Okay. What are the global ambassadors, diaspora, and the plenipotentiary ambassadors? These are New World Alliance's officially appointed diplomatic representatives, holding recognized extraterritorial and human rights status. Now, please, we're not political. We're not religious. So we don't come under the protocols of the Vatican. We don't come under the protocols of government and governance. Does that make sense? So whatever laws are applicable to diplomats in government are not applicable to us. Whatever laws are applicable to the Holy See or the papal decrees or the documents are not applicable to us. However, we as ambassadors totally respect the papal decrees, the papal ways of going about things, all the religions on planet Earth, every viewpoint they have. We respect every government on Earth and every governance. Our objective is not to challenge governments or the law. Our objective is to negotiate at a peaceful resistance to make the changes that need to come. We've been given that power to do that without being interfered with, by being recognized as those that do not want to take part in the experiment. We are the other part of the experiment. They have to honor that. Otherwise, the experiment falls apart. And it starts leading towards what we call coercement and enforcement, bordering on, dare I say it, war crimes. Start looking into that. Enforcing, coercing a society into harmful situations can be classed as a war crime. Since the COVID debacle, a lot of the governances and governments have become aware that they were on the borderline from their viewpoint, so have looked at other ways of enticing people to come in and get the fix, whatever fix that's going to be. So plenipotentiary ambassadors act with full authority under the seal of the CEO and the chairman's office, equivalent to the Vienna Convention's Article 14 standard of representation. Just so you understand, I have been, my position, Sir Larry put me forward to be part of the Club of Rome, and there was no rebuttal. So we have a New World Alliance's people's voice for the first ever time on this planet in the Club of Rome. That is something to celebrate, because it means we can now negotiate the future of the world. We have a say. NWA has been given a say in what we want to project for the new world to come. No rebuttals. Global ambassadors diaspora represent a collective body of global citizens working towards peace, trade, and humanitarian balance. Their credentials are verifiable and are issued under NWA's registered sovereign seal, recognized by multiple governments and intergovernmental departments through acknowledgement and cooperation. I just need to know, this is like you probably thought you were never going to be hit with this tonight, but does this start making sense to you as to where the New World Alliances sits in the world? How does NWA engage with the UN and governments today? Now, we have to engage with the governments and the UN today. NWA engages through cooperative diplomacy with UN departments, missions, and agencies. Last night, I haven't even had a chance to tell James, by the way, James on this call, Ambassador James Florence is now our global COO. So you've got a global CEO living in England available to you to speak to. So that'll be made available to you. So we're going to make ourselves more and more available. We're not hiding in a 20-story building or behind a Rolls Royce or anything like that. I'm basically on a pension. I've retired. My wife's retired. And we just want to give back to the world and our future progeny, our grandchildren, our children's children, a better world, and we just don't want to see them waking up in a gulag every day being fed porridge and monitored by a robot dog, because that is where this world is headed towards unless we act. We've seen the documents. So New World Alliances engages through cooperative diplomacy with UN departments, missions and agencies. So when a person becomes a plenipotentiary ambassador, they get an appointment that is given by Sir Larry, and it's not a, hey, I want to apply for this guy to be a plenipotentiary ambassador, is you will accept this appointment. This is just a notification and a declaration that this ambassador is now a plenipotentiary ambassador and will be treated as one. This is sent to various UN areas. It's not, hi, please, can I come in? It's here it is. This is the declaration, and you walk out, and you're now on every computer in the world, and you're now recognized. And believe me, I've experienced that myself. So cooperative diplomacy with UN departments, missions, and agencies, and do not let this go to your head, please. We want to be the ambassadors of the new world, where we actually operate with dignity, honor, ethics, integrity. I mean, go around beating our chest and demanding. We like to be there to serve. That's what we do. Observer participation in international conventions and forums. We welcome all the ambassadors and peace ambassadors. Please, you don't have to be a plenipotentiary ambassador to get onto a forum and announce yourself as an ambassador. Correspondence with governments and intergovernmental bodies. Your letters will get through now, believe me. When you go with the letterhead of New World Alliances, we are known all over the world. And through peace and trade treaty programs which align with the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, but from a non-corporate, human-centered approach. Do you see the difference? These engagements are diplomatic and lawful, not contractual. So there's no contract. How is NWA different from NGOs or UN-affiliated programs? Unlike conventional NGOs, and this is where you're probably sitting, you've been so panel beated to say, if you open up an NGO, you have to come under our control. Correct? Yes, that's the way the governance wants it. More money. Unlike conventional NGOs, which are registered under domestic law and licensed by state agencies, NWA operates under international sovereign law. It does not depend on government grants or corporate funding. It's not that we can't go out and raise money, but we don't get it through the UN. We won't touch that money, or the US aid, or the US this, or the US that. The second you touch that, right? You are tainted. It does not depend on government grants or corporate funding. Instead, NWA functions as a self-governing alliance backed by its ordinances, treaties, and global membership system. This independence allows New World alliances to protect its members under international humanitarian protections, issue treaty-backed credentials, and diplomatic identifications, operate global missions without political interference, where right now, David and Jeff, I don't know if Jeff's on the line, but David and Jeff are right now going to be used as guinea pigs in the UK. And we're in we're in line to declare their homes as NWA consulates. So we're actually working towards that right now. Yes, Jeff. Okay. I didn't see your picture, Jeff. Sorry. Operate global missions without political interference, and maintain its moral, ethical, and spiritual sovereignty. Now, please, okay, we're going to progress this slowly to make sure that when we hit a little bit of a ridge or a bridge, we actually handle it step by step, if that makes sense. So your journey to get your home declared a consulate becomes a lot easier. So take your hat off to David and Jeff because they're right in the firing line at the moment. Okay. Does NWA support the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals? Yes, but conditionally. So if you're asked, do we support the United Nations? We say yes, but conditionally. Now, no other organization can say that. No other government can say that because why? They're in treaty. Everyone went and signed up a pact with the WHO. They're in treaty with the WHO. They made a pact. They made an agreement. They've made a covenant. Did we make it? No, we just simply let the WHO know, bring it on. So protection arises from the NWA Ordinance, Natural, Divine, International Law, the Peace and Trade Treaty, mutual recognition between sovereigns, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948, the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, 1961, the Convention on Privileges and Immunities of the Specialized Agencies, 1947, customary international law and tacit agreement. Together, these instruments provide diplomatic standing, rights, and protections, ensuring that all NWA missions are legally, morally, and spiritually grounded. So there are certain protocols that we follow. If one of our ambassadors, if I'm sent to the UK, or I send myself to the UK, I come on a diplomatic mission, diplomatic assignment. I have to notify, and that's standard for government diplomats and any other diplomats, and they have hoodwinked everybody into believing that the only way you can get all these privileges is to be a government diplomat. That's not true. I then go to the Foreign Affairs here in Australia, where I'm registered as a New World Alliance ambassador. And I say, look, I'm going to the UK, and this is what I'm going there to do. I'm going to be helping some members to do this or that, or we're going to be looking into the roof over every soul's head about homelessness, whatever it is. And I leave the document with the Australian embassy or the Australian Foreign Affairs. Then a document is sent to UK, to the UK corresponding department. Standard for any diplomat. You just don't get people think you just get on a plane and travel. No, that doesn't exist. Even for the diplomats. When Donald Trump has to travel, it has to be prearranged. I don't care who he is, what he is, it has to all be prearranged and accepted amongst the foreign affairs, state departments, etc., etc. And they play a big part of the world's activities right now. Then I travel to England, and then I get met at the airport, whizzed away in one of these automobiles, protected by the MI5, which is their objective in the UK, is to protect diplomats mostly and look after the peace in the region. And that all protocol happens. Or I can just say I'm traveling to the UK. I don't take my diplomatic status in any way, shape, or form, and I travel as a normal visitor or on a business affairs, and I have to follow the protocol of a normal, dare I say, citizen, if that makes sense. However, when I travel with my card, my plenipotentiary card, it's got a United Nations entity number on it that people can flash and say, wow, you're an ambassador. David will let you know how powerful the Peace Ambassador card is and how it's been used by one of our gentlemen in England very effectively. I've got tons of stories about that. Together, these instruments provide diplomatic standing, rights, and protections, ensuring that all NWA missions are legally, morally, and spiritually grounded. So we don't go and throw ourselves around. If you speed, you'll pay the fine. If you knock somebody over and you hurt them, there's no immunity from that. Okay, we don't believe in that. We can get it, but Sir Larry doesn't believe in that. There's got to be responsibility in this new wave of ambassadors that are to come. So how does the world recognize NWA without a formal UN contract? Boy, and that's the question I get asked by every single lawyer, advocate. It's simple. Recognition does not require a contract. It requires presence, performance, and acknowledgement. When NWA acts in accordance with international humanitarian principles, communicates with recognized states or UN officials, and is acknowledged or applied to, recognition is established under tacit consent. Over time, and this is important, this creates a lawful international presence, much like the Red Cross or the Knights of Malta or the Vatican or the UN for that matter, recognized through consistent humanitarian action and moral legitimacy, not, repeat, not political registration. So we don't need political registration. The second we take political registration, we are in trouble. We are now giving over to that contract. Question 12, what is the vision of NWA moving forward? Simple, to restore the true meaning of international cooperation. Wow. So many governments are asking for our services at the moment, by the way. Who's willing to go to Israel? Just tell me. We've got Lepere, what's his name? I can't remember. One of the Israelis asking Larry to put one of his diplomatic teams together. He's got so many humanitarian problems at the moment in Israel and in whatever's going on over there, which is quite amazing what's going on over there, that we've been asked to put together a team. We've been asked to visit various countries. Why haven't we? Because we're simply on day 2 Genesis. We're a new organization. We're babes in the wood in relation to this world, and the world is starting to accept New World alliances in very big way. And it's not me. Just understand that. I'm a servant for mankind. That's all I am. I'm a vessel that basically carries out the chairman's vision. That's what a CEO does. I've been a CEO 3 times before in my life, and I always took the board of directors or the original vision of the chairman or the founder, and I simply put that into a management plan and carried it out. That's the simplicity of being a CEO and playing the piano to make sure that there's all coordination and harmony within the organization. So we're striving to restore the true meaning of international cooperation, free from coercion, corruption, and corporate dominance. Our task to go into the Club of Rome is to form a international judicial council to help the problems with corruption in the world. And that was, now I found out, asked for by the Club of Rome itself. I don't know. So NWA stands as a sovereign alliance of nations, peoples, and ambassadors working together for peace, trade, balance, human rights, and the preservation of divine natural law. Its mission is simple but absolute: to bring humanity back into harmony with itself and to ensure that law once again serves life, not the other way around. So that's why I sit in this chair. That's why I put up with all the questions. That's why I go through everybody's emails. That's why I try and establish an organization that can help the world. Um, we make mistakes. We've got a beautiful team of voluntary people that are so brilliant, and we are so blessed to have them. We're so blessed to have all of you to look at how you can help. Do you have to help? No. Are we going to look down on you because you're not prepared to help us? No. Are we going to look down on you because you think this is the biggest lot of twaddle you've ever heard in your life and you walk out the door and never hear from us again? No. But I can assure you, I've been in special forces in the African wars, and I understand fully we leave no man behind. I say in New World Alliances, damn it, we leave no man, woman, or child behind. We can't. We've got to rise up to take the responsibility of being those type of people that change the world and are willing to step across the line to do just that much more than the average person. If you feel you cannot do that, you are still part of this family. If you feel that this is going to interfere with your jurisdiction, that is your reality and your choice. We understand. We cannot enforce you. We cannot coerce you to join up with the New World Alliances. And in the end, who are the New World Alliances? It's you and I, because it's very simple. It's all the like-minded people and all the like-minded groups in the world allying together, coming together to find a common ground where we can all negotiate and find a way to tolerate each other and work out a strategic plan on how we can advance into this world and create that absolute, what's the word I'm looking for? Parallel society, parallel economy, parallel this. And James will tell you where we're getting all of this power from is from the people. We have people coming forward within the New World Alliances around this world that have such high credentials. My eyes water. I couldn't even try to get onto a platform with some of these people. They have got skill sets, and that's the beauty. You've all got hidden talents. You've all got skill sets that this world needs. For God's sake, don't die with them. This world could have changed because you had the guts, the fortitude, the love for mankind to step out and say, you know what? I'm going to bring that idea forward. I'm going to venture to talk to the New World Alliances. I want to be heard. Hey, I've got big ears, right? We are the greatest listeners in the world. We've got Jeff now heading up the Global Ambassadors Diaspora for UK. He didn't know it, but that's extended to Europe from today. And we've got David, who heads up what we call the um, Outreach Society. And the Outreach Society is looking after arts, culture, ecology, science, technology, small business development, health, education, all those little parts of society, and to bring those people together with their alliances so that we can help them achieve their goals. If someone wants to save the Wagga Wagga bat in Indonesia, well, hey, we're there because the purpose of our global head of ecology is to bring back a perfect balance of nature on planet Earth, because the balance at the moment is in serious trouble. So we've got the ecology, and since he's announced it, Asher, which you'll get to meet, no one is not available to you in the New World Alliances. If you want to speak to anybody in the New World Alliances about certain subject matter, we've got specialists by design, by default, that have got expertise in various areas that I would step back and have a cup of tea and you can carry on. I don't know everything. I don't want to know everything because my head would be just in a maze. I know enough to do this job and to help everybody achieve what they want to achieve within the New World Alliances ethically, honorably. Oh, we can go on to bring about that new ambassador level where people say, wow, if you want someone to handle your problem in your country, call NWA. And that's starting to happen. It is starting to happen. And we're scrambling. I must be honest with you. We now realize there's a tsunami coming towards us of people that are going, help. And the truth is, I can't believe that there's no one else out there that seems to be able to assist them. I'm not talking about your TECA and your assemblies. You're helping a lot of people, don't get me wrong, but there's no one out there that can help the starving people in the Congo, the starving people. The UN itself looks like to me almost closed. It seems to be non-functional to what it used to be. Yeah, James, if you can, I noticed you put a, and I'll introduce you to James. James is our COO. I don't know if he's in a position, but
Yeah,
have you?
I'm here, Brendan, and thank you again for the passion and the exuberance by which you've spoken this evening. And I just want to add, when you said that it's like no one else is there, and we're talking from the belly of the beast standpoint, right? We're talking about the old paradigm and those
Yeah,
that are trying to, well, those who seem to be absent from helping in this whole paradigm. It's not just the UN; it's all of the charities, it's all of the NGOs, it's all of the people that have said that they're going to be helping humanity, and all they've done is stolen and and raped the land and the people of many of the countries around the world. And it's very sad that someone's got to do something and it's got to be us. But unfortunately, when you look around, there are very few others that are doing it in this jurisdiction. And I think that's the key part, is that this is a different jurisdiction to the one of which is operating with TECA. And I think Sarah said it very well, in that, you know, we're working from the inside out. TECA are working from the outside in. And if we're both doing it with the same ferocity, the same intention, and the same force, we should be able to implode this thing.
thank you. And David, would you just like to read out that testimonial from, is it Peter of England or Peter? I couldn't quite make out who it was.
It's Peter Wilson, actually, who has his own group as well. Let me just bring it up on screen. I'll actually share it so I can read it properly. Bear with me a second. Did you want to talk about the New World Alliance's Earth, Food and Water Sovereignty Stewardship, or not right now?
No, that's download. I cannot fit
Okay.
everything in one session.
Of course, yeah, of
It's
course.
impossible. Sorry.
Right, let me just
And
share
I
my
don't want to confuse
screen.
anyone. It's available to download. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
continuing the training in the UK. I'm making myself available twice a week to personally help and train everybody and to align their fears, because skepticism is not a bad thing. It's skepticism brings on more digging, more research, and more inner understanding and more surety and certainty. So I'm fine with it. No problem. So do you
You
want
all,
to read that out, David?
yeah, sure, I can read it out. Sure. It says here, this is from Peter Wilson. It says, for myself, I went to pick up a rescue dog, Mouse, we call him in brackets, as he was brought in from Spain. He was terrified, been badly abused, and he bit my hand, did a lot of damage to my left thumb. I had to go to hospital as the whole arm swelled up and turned red. When I got to the hospital, they wanted me to wear a mask, get a swab test up my nose, etc., etc. I refused, told them I was a diplomatic ambassador, showed them my card. They shut up, put me in a private room, and let me wander around the hospital unhindered. I still heard them shouting at people to put their masks on. No one ever bothered me. We had a whole family travel to Fuerteventura for a holiday. They produced their cards, went at the airport, on the plane, and Spanish airport. They had a few delays but were allowed to travel basically unhindered. The same for a female member that went to France and she then went to Malaysia. A little bit more hassle in Malaysia, but mostly okay. So we have very positive views of the cards and the NWA. End of quote. So,
Thank you, David. So we have numerous people who have used their membership and their cards, displayed it, shown it, and as long as they've been mannerly and decent. And please, if you go traveling around the world in a pair of flip-flops and shorts and a singlet, don't hang your ambassador credentials around your neck, okay? Because you've got to think very carefully how you get perceived as an ambassador. So it's not traveling in a three-piece suit either. It's just looking presentable and speaking honorably and clearly as a diplomat would be expected to speak. Someone shouts at you, just listen. Okay, you have to be that diplomat, be that ambassador. There will be ambassador training, there will be security training on how you don't go into hotel rooms. You will have debug devices to check the mirrors, etc., etc., etc. All of that will be training that will be given to ambassadors because you're entering a world, a different type of world where you don't leave your drinks open, where you make sure you never eat in the same place, you don't create patterns, etc., etc. And that's precautionary. I can tell you that when you do go on assignments, we have the ability to, through satellite, triangulate our ambassadors to make sure they're safe. I'll be open with you on that. NWA has a lot of teeth that people don't know about. We don't show them unless we have to, if that makes sense. So we are a peaceful organization, okay, unless provoked. That's basically where it's at. But we handle the provoking with honorable, ethical, non-violent methodology only. We don't resort to any form of underhanded tactics or CIA, FBI, or we're not. If we find crimes in the field, we actually refer them to the prosecutorial units of that country. And now we're obliged to do that, by the way, as ambassadors. If you find crimes committed against children or anything like that, you are obliged as an ambassador to actually present those crimes to the prosecutorial organization in that country, and then leave it. Don't get involved. We are dealing with human rights. When it goes above the line, we don't get involved. We have to hand it over. If that makes sense to everybody. We're not policemen. We're not investigators. We're not secret agents or anything like that. We are simply law-abiding, honorable, ethical ambassadors going into the world, utilizing the New World Alliance's protections and abilities to have peace and trade. Your value to a country going on a peace mission is far less than if you say you're going on a trade mission, because ding, ding, there go the dollars. So whenever you say you're coming in to do a trade mission or a trade assignment, the government is more than happy to welcome you. I can tell you now, if you wrote to the Bangladeshi government right now and said you'd like to come over from New World Alliance's viewpoint to help them create trade avenues, you'd have a jumbo 747 waiting for you at Heathrow Airport, because they need help. You get it? We are able to do that by using diplomatic ways to go and do this help. And you would be amazed that the Foreign Affairs Department of the UK as well will be quite happy to sign off on that, because they want people to do good things overseas because it gives them PR, the public relations side. And it's a whole messed up world, sorry to say, and it doesn't make sense. There's no logic in it. And as long as you know that, you'll be happy today when you pick up the newspaper or you walk outside and you see something crazy happening. Just accept it. Don't resist it. What you resist will persist. What you try and get will keep moving away from you. You must just keep on moving ahead towards your goal, towards your purpose. Understand it's a game. Games have freedoms and barriers and purposes. Just make sure that you've got balance of freedoms and barriers you can grow through. Don't get yourself caught up where you have so many barriers that you can't see any freedom. That's when you have to stop and completely change your operating basis, because that is hell. That's where no matter what you do, it's going wrong. No matter what I'm saying, it's hitting back at me. Stop, retract, review, and look at how you can develop something better. I was traveling around the world doing motivational training for some time in my life. So the thing is that we've all got to understand that we're not going to make it, Harvinder, if we don't work together. Julian, Graham, if we don't now, right now, get together with the GAD operations in the UK, now is the time. Your digital ID is on your heads at the moment. The 15-minute cities are being actually arranged. Go and look at the cameras around you. I mean, in Sydney, I've got the same thing. Look around you and understand that it is happening, but you are not part of this experiment. So, David, please bring up that second document.
Before you do so, Brendan, can I just speak very quickly about
Of course.
the testimonial that you put out there? Because I think it's important. I think it's important for us to give a little bit of context to this. Now, this was written by I won't give his name away, but a founder and operator of a sovereign institution, a sovereign business that focuses on financial independence, self-sovereignty, shielding wealth for individuals using private trust law. This isn't someone who has just been a peace ambassador for a while and we've reached out to. This is someone that charges £65 a month to members. This is someone who has nearly 1,000 members and charges that subscription to. This is someone who is very, very powerful in being able to teach others how to become sovereign individuals. And that is a testimony from him to NWA, of which we haven't asked for. We've just reached out to see how he was doing, and that was his response after 3 years of him being a peace ambassador. I think that's fairly significant.
Absolutely. Thank you, James. Thank you. That was great, actually. Yeah.
Dave, if you can, thank you. And you know what, James? I'm going to be honest, I didn't even know that myself.
Same here.
It's incredible. Thanks.
Every day is a school day.
Oh, I'm learning every day.
Yeah.
This has been the biggest learning curve of my life. And my love for mankind is growing daily when I realize what this trap is and how simple it could be to get us, and not me for goodness sake, but all of us to find a way to get each other out of it. It's not that difficult, but it's perceived to be this big, difficult problem. But if you use the right tactics and the right knowledge base and the love and get into the highest vibration you could possibly find, you'll find out that this world is just a simple illusion and it can be easily rectified. And I might sound a bit mad to you, but that is my viewpoint since being in and around the New World Alliances and seeing the horrors that come across my desk, but also seeing the great possibilities and certainties that lie ahead for us. All right, this is one document that I was asked to produce by the chairman. This has been sent out now, and it's gone out to our whole database, and it will be going out to every world leader. It'll be going out to, I don't know who it's not going out to. All right. All right. To whom it may concern, it must be clearly understood that on this planet, silence is consent. The United Nations ongoing silence, and this is a declaration we're making to the UN, by the way, Hovina. The United Nations ongoing silence in response to the declarations of the New World Alliances constitutes tacit agreement, particularly regarding our members standing as non-participants in global experimental programs. Like a financial instrument starts out uncut, fresh, and then as the days, weeks, and months and years roll on, it matures. So does an ordinance, a treaty, a constitution, a declaration, or even a charter. Every experiment by scientific and ethical law requires two groups, participants and non-participants. Without the freedom to refuse, an experiment ceases to have any validity. It becomes now coercion. Therefore, by our declared and documented non-participation recognized through our peace and trade treaty membership and our ordinances, charters, and QR-coded registration, the NWA and its members exist as the lawful, ethical, and spiritual control group, now funnily being referred to in the hollowed halls as the remnants. Now, I'm not joking. We are now looked at by the higher echelon. When they talk of New World Alliances, they go, oh, the remnants, the ones that will be left over. We are considered to be the ones to be left alone. Do you understand that? We are being given the right of passage. We in the NWA are the ones who cannot be touched. This is not a rebellion by NWA and its members. Far from it. It's LOREFUL, LAWFUL exemption through informed consent withheld, and it is protected by international conventions, natural law, and divine right. The QR code registered through NWA flags us, listen to this carefully, within their own global databases as non-participants in all experimental programs, medical, financial, social, environmental, et al. We represent the necessary balance that preserves the integrity of global data. Whether they acknowledge it openly or not, their silence is in effect our shield. And as global experiments unfold, and they are and will be rapidly increasing, CBDCs, 15-minute restrictive cities, digital passports, and the next waves of emergency management, our members, through the NWA Peace and Trade Treaty, our ordinances, and sheer maturity in their systems, will retain mobility rights and protections far beyond those of the uninformed citizen. If you've ever wondered why some are called essential, this will shock you, it is because they stand outside the system's control grid. So when they label someone essential service, it means you're no longer under the grid. Did you know that? That is what the NWA provides: lawful, diplomatic, human protection grounded in peace, trade, and inalienable rights. If you wish to ensure that you and your family or your business will stand a real and better chance of survival through the next wave of planned, yes, planned, sweeping global experiments, contact our Global Chief of Staff's office. There's the email address there, and request your Peace and Trade Treaty membership info package, which you can receive, read through it, and then hit us with all the questions you want on the actual treaty. Never before has a organization offered man in the street his own treaty. It's always been between governments. Have you noticed that? Institutions. Yeah, the WHO, the UN have their own treaties, but where are you involved in it? So within the NWA, we're saying, hey, come into treaty with the NWA. And when you do, give us your conditions, because it's got to be equitable, not unilateral. All the treaties, the WHO Pact, by the way, is perfectly unilateral. Where did you have your say in the WHO's Pact? Okay, so these are the things we've got to understand. So support our charters. Join us as peace ambassadors. And if you really feel that urge, take the next step towards the sacred sovereign order of the GAD. That's what it's actually called. And become a global ambassador diaspora. Prerequisites to becoming a GAD is to have a peace ambassador number or membership. And if you have one and wish to step up to becoming a global ambassador diaspora, please apply via Ambassador HIPAA and ask for your application forms at blah, blah there. Okay, I think that's it. Just go. Yeah, that's fine. So understand that as NWA, we are non-participants in the experiment. So if you ever get stopped or anything with your NWA membership, you get trained and you get hassled, you say, excuse me, with dignity, love, and honor, I am an official non-participant in your game. Okay? That's by decree. Here is my ambassador card. Right. Knock yourself out, scan the QR code, and then knock yourself out and get your supervisor down. And then if you continue this, I will call the federal police to have you arrested, because you're now interfering with an ambassador's right to do their job. Did you hear what I said? Where do you think your metropolitan lies? It's your Fed. That's why you got two cities. But that's the bland way of doing it. We'll train you, and I would never use that unless it was the last thing I'd have to do. But you do have that power, but we don't ever use it. We use love, understanding, diplomacy. Because the guy that's checking your bags, the guy that stopped you on the road, the guy is got a family at home that he has to feed, and if he doesn't meet his quota, and if he doesn't do what he's told, what happens to him? He loses his job. He can't feed his own family, and he joins the homeless. So the problem is not lying in humans. Our enemy is not flesh and blood. Our enemy are the principalities and the beast system that has been designed to devour us all. And it's that system which we have to address as spiritual beings from whatever faith group you. This is not about faith. This is about you as a spiritual being that want to see that system change, because it's entrapped people. It's the matrix. And it in our own organization, what happens is we have ambassadors who want to help, and suddenly they get dragged back into the matrix. Oh my God, I've got to pay my rent, my mortgage, this, that, everything. And we understand, because it is a trap. And people are trapped within it. So by having like-minded people and like-minded groups growing and flourishing and prospering, because I can assure you, if you're sitting in your deck chair, nice and peacefully in your backyard, drinking a nice cup of tea and feeling very peaceful, and just have your tranquil music playing outside. If you're not trading, if you're not doing something, you are now not able to bring in the money, to bring in the resources that you need to carry on survival. So the same thing as if you're in trade, a lot of you people are in business, been in business, you know, there's scoundrels out there. And the criminality out there is that you deliver your service, you don't get paid, you get underpaid. You've got people knocking on your door demanding. It's a nightmare in the trading world. So within the Peace and Trade Treaty, we want our members to be honorable, ethical. So we now have people that always said, oh, we want to have an NDA and an NDY to the power of 6 and this contract, that contract, and my lawyer will talk to your lawyer £20,000 later, right? Oh, you don't qualify with my procedures. Oh, well, you didn't tell me that. Knock it off. What we have within the New World Alliances is a new world going forward where I put two people together who are ambassadors in the gold field. Okay, that one's deals with gold in Hong Kong, the other one deals with gold and money and all that type of stuff, which is fine. Everybody's got their games, we love them. And they were able to pick up a phone and talk to each other and make an agreement without a document being signed. And they haven't concluded anything yet, just before you all rush off to your telephones. They haven't concluded anything yet, but can you see what's happened? We now have an open way of people to communicate about business, life, everything. So we're bringing about that society while the person's protected. So when you're sitting in your garden having your cup of tea, you're in trade. Okay, you're doing something that you know you're flourishing and prospering, and at the same time, you're protected. I don't know what else New World Alliances can offer. That to me is a gift. I treat it as a gift every single day and night. And my opportunity, my function now is to spread the word and let people know and then make up their minds for themselves. So what I ask you to do, no matter what you do after this talk, walk away, whatever it is, and then go to the law books and the Black Law Dictionary, and whatever you're going to do to the Bhagavad Gita or to the Sanskrit, and you're going to investigate what I said tonight. Hey, I'm not here to prove myself right. I'm here to put the information there for you to further research. Look at it for yourself, because the truth is, and I've told everybody, with all the papers, with the little writing, the seals, the this, the that, the bonds, the birth certificate, everything, it's great. But your sovereignty lies within you. Your belief in yourself is the greatest sovereignty you can ever have. So when you step out of bed in the morning and you put your feet into your slippers, by God, be sovereign. From the day you get out of that bed till the day you decide to depart this ways, just be sovereign. Do sovereign things. People will judge us by our actions, not our speaking. They'll judge you by results. And they'll judge you by your ability to present yourself. What do you have? What have you achieved through the New World Alliances? They will judge you. And quite rightly so. We allow them to do that. So just understand, this is not a call to arms, not at all. I can't do that. Who the hell am I to do something like that? What we are looking at now is for you to go out and get as many peace ambassadors as you can to read the second document. I wouldn't advise giving that to too many people until they are versed with what we do. Show them that we're not part of the UN. Show them that we care. Get them to speak to David, to Havinda, to James, to Jeff, and get hold of me. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Get me up and I'll talk to a new person, because a new person being salvaged to me is what I'm all about. I'm about giving that total opportunity to have family, to give them that chance that they have to be protected in a society to come, because it's a god awful hell that is being created in this world right now. If you think it's bad now, it could get worse. We do a lot of background work as well when you get to plenipotentiary and that level, where we try our level best, especially Solari, to negotiate at very high levels. If you go and look for Solari, by the way, he's not as prevalent as you would think he is, because he's in an area where people don't know a lot about what's going on up there. So, but anybody here, I never denied an opportunity. If you want to meet with Solari, I will personally bring Solari onto a meeting like this if you want to speak to him. And then you will never be the same after you've spoken to this man. When you hear what is going on, who he dealt with, who he was with, Henry Kissinger, Hillary Clinton, the whole crowd, and walked away from Learjets, $5 billion, all kinds of stuff, to pursue this pathway to make sure that we stand a chance of making it as mankind, and bringing the Romanovs and the Lees and all that side of it into a white hat, if you call it that, disposition, where the families have actually now decided we can all work together. And that is happening as well. But there is a war going on. Don't kid yourself. But we're going to win the war. We've got strategies, and I can see we've got people here too with great abilities in a lot of fields that can contribute to our motion, to what we can do. So, David, I yield for questions.
Thank you, Brendan. What I'd like to do, actually, Brendan, if I may, is share the ordinance document
Yes.
as well, just to have a
Yes.
look at the section that I'll refer to in a second. If you don't mind, I'll do that now.
David, respectfully, I've had my hand up for about 35 minutes now. I have a
Sorry.
couple of questions, if I could possibly put them to Brendan before
Sure.
we show any documents. Thank you.
Paul Gunson, Paul, just a second, please, mate. I'm just going to show this is literally not the whole document. It's literally one or two lines I want to show everybody, and literally we'll come to you straight after that, if that's okay. Yeah, just bear with me 2 seconds, please. I'm just going to bring it up now. Thank you, Paul.
My apologies, Paul. I never saw your hand.
Everybody see this document? I'm just going to zoom it in a bit. I think this is quite important because I think this will actually help people understand where we are. You can download this document from the website as well. It's basically an ordinance document that tells whoever you're going to present that to, whoever might stop you in the street, that show them this document, and basically they should leave you alone. What it refers to here is the section where it says provide immunity and protection for the following: coerced or forced vaccinations, forced and mandatory mask mandates, including psychological manipulation to induce compliance, forced lockdowns by governments and institutions. So basically, this is kind of reinforcing what the card does give you in paper format. You can actually download and print that and have it on you all the time when you have the card. Just wanted really to point this out to people so that you can actually go onto the website and download it for your own peace of mind and read it as well. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say. Now I'm going to switch over to questions now, if that's okay. And I'll stop sharing. And I think the only one, Paul, fire away with your question, please. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah,
Johnson.
first of all, Brendan, thanks very much. I would like to take you up on your one-to-one meeting offer.
Sure.
There's quite a number of people on this group who know who I am. I'm very much a humanitarian. We've all been on a journey of sovereignty, trying to get out the beast system, for want of a word. I'm very much a biblical person, and I make no apology for that. My question really is, this is probably a solution we've been seeking. I've been a member of the NWA since 2024. But at that point, there wasn't any kind of movement in the UK. So first of all, I'm really grateful for those who have stepped up, and I'm happy to take on any role that can help promote. I'm connected. Peter Wilson's a very good personal friend of mine. I'm in his group, and I've worked with Peter for best part of a few years, and I'm also connected to many other of the freedom groups, the sovereignty groups that we can now push this out to. And I'm also very much into humanitarian projects. My two main passions are homelessness, and we've got a lot of technology that can help improve homelessness throughout the world at a very cheap cost. And also in relation to ex-soldiers, ex-military who have found themselves suffering from mental health. I'm actually a mental health coach, qualified mental health coach, and that's something I'm passionate about sharing around the world. And I want to take on that global ambassadorship. So whatever training can be offered to that, that's been in my goal for a number of years. Uh, and yeah, just really grateful for those in the UK who stepped up. Can I ask one question? One of our groups in Terra Australis are connected to a guy. Now, you will either know this guy or you won't, and I'm interested to find out. Are you familiar with King Ulikai of the First Nations people of Australia?
I No, not directly, but I can tell you that the First Nations people are very spread out and very divided. So I am actually working on a program at the moment to work with their elders
Yeah,
to help them bring to a better understanding of what they can and can't do. But they're so ancient in their beliefs. They've got incredible knowledge and wisdom, which they are trying to bring to the world at the moment. But if I can get connected through you to this person,
yeah. I
I
mean,
would.
he's claiming to be of the tribal kingship bloodline of the First Nations people of Australia.
Yeah.
And this is a global network. So I would hope that you may have found out, or you may be aware of it, because he is in Australia, and he's promoting the First Nations have claimedly captured not only the Crown, but also through the Crown Attorney General, all the sovereign debt of all nations, and that wealth is coming back to us. So I was just wondered whether you had any awareness of that, because that's another massive group.
Myself and James especially, I think you need to also link up to James. James has become dare I say it, James, I will, pretty much a specialist now in the sovereign funds and what's happening with them around the world. And that's a lot. There's been a huge amount of claims from different tribes and kings and queens and princes and
Yeah,
et cetera, et cetera. Our objective and within James' portfolio at the moment is to make sure that whatever's there gets gathered in and gets distributed fairly and evenly for the good of all mankind, not just a small group. So
absolutely.
please get hold of James. And also, from my viewpoint, you can head up the globe. You can be the global head of military attaché for the NWA to every army in the world. So Larry is very well
I've
connected.
actually got a friend in the UK who is ex-army, and he is actually the chairman of the British forces, and he has connections globally.
Yeah, we want to help every soldier, but one thing we do in NWA, we don't take sides. We'll help the Russians vets, we'll help the British vets, the Chinese vets. Every single country right now has got major problems with their army, believe it or not. All these young men are fodder. Basically, that's what they are put into. You know the story.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
absolutely.
fodder, you were fodder. But we're not going to try and tackle that. We're going to look at fixing the people and bringing them together into a project called International Disasters and Relief Alliances, which is bringing all the vets into a paid position where they can help all the world with all the disasters, earthquakes, volcano, all the stuff that's incoming. So that'll be another discussion, please, Paul, because I have got 10 minutes before I go into my next.
Ready to make his next call. So, guys, we've got to cut down any more questions. He's got 10 minutes.
That's our global chief of staff.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, the boss. We call him the boss over here. I've sent you a personal message with my details, Brendan, if we can meet up. I yield to Jeff because I think Jeff may have something to follow on with that.
Thank you. Lovely meeting you, Paul.
And you.
Okay.
Jeff.
Any more questions?
Hi. Yeah, I was going to say to Paul, I'm actually working on a roof over every soul's head, and I'd value your input on that because it's looking at homeless and vulnerable and rehabilitation and stuff. So if you wish to help us on that as well, you get loaded up with being a GAD or that within the New World Alliance. So you'll get plenty to do.
Yeah, I'm also an international speaker as well, so I'm happy to go anywhere to promote anything in relation to this work.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, there's lots of work.
I've been wishing for this for the last 15 years.
I salute you, Paul. No problem on that one. We'd love to have you go around the world and do whatever you have to do. We'll make it happen.
I've got your details, Jeff. I'll call you.
Right. Thank you. Cheers, Paul.
We're a team.
Yeah,
it's no I in team. Okay, yeah. We in New World Alliances, we are all standing together, shoulder to shoulder, hand to hand. Okay, as a shield against this nonsense.
Well said.
In a peaceful manner.
Yes, absolutely.
That sounded a little bit combatant, that.
Fiery red hair. Okay, so there's a bit of a singe there.
You know, right, I was married to one for 42 years. I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Anyway.
Thank you, guys. We've got Camilla Love. That's sorry, I didn't realize you were speaking there, Brendan. We've got Camilla because we've only got literally 9 minutes left now. I'd love to bring in Camilla, please, if possible. Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, David. Thank you. Hello, Brendan. My name's Camila. Really nice to meet everyone.
Costa Rica. Fantastic. Welcome.
Thank you.
I didn't on the line because I just see these 5 faces here. You've got other ones to introduce to. I just must tell everybody that Camila is a qualified human rights lawyer, and she's also stepped up to be the head of social justice NWA for Latin America.
Thank you, Brendan. I am so excited to be here. I'm not necessarily a qualified human rights lawyer, though I appreciate that designation. I am a lawyer who went to law school to become an international human rights lawyer and have not yet done that work, but this is the opening, and I am delighted to bring my skills and offerings to this field and to this group of people. And I am based in Costa Rica doing social justice work here in Latin America. So my question is not because I have doubts. I am fully on board and fully aligned. And I'm asking this question because I want to be able to speak to others who have this doubt in a confident way that gives them the information they need. And I imagine other people on the call are hearing this. So my question is, basically, why is the diplomatic global peace ambassadors card so easy to get? It's available online. It's $90 US. Someone could sign up right now without ever talking to you. And my, people's concern is it looks like a cheap sales gimmick, even if that's just perception. And I know that's not what we're about. I'm very, very clear that's not what we're about. But in the big picture, if we have hundreds and thousands more people doing this card, some of whom have been vetted 0%, my concern is they're not going to be the kind of folks that are doing this work well. They're going to flash their card when they're traveling for some BS reason. And eventually down the line, it would delegitimize our work and our people. And I'm sure you've thought about this, so I'm curious how you respond to that.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, we're still at the early doors, as you know, but we are bringing in a vetting system because we do realize we have to vet the quality of our peace ambassadors. Our global ambassadors are basically the
More
vetting,
vetted.
yeah,
Heavily vetted.
heavily vetted, because
Yeah.
we can't put anyone out there in the international world misrepresenting us. So believe me, we do understand that. With regards to the peace ambassador card, give you an idea, the same equivalent in the UN from UNESCO and all these places is, I think it's $50,000 to buy an ambassadorship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
something like that. So and to answer your question, it's because we don't have the time to deliberate too much. If we had the 10 years ahead of us, man, we could charge $900, $2,000 and pick the best creme de la creme out of the crop. But the truth is, we don't have the time. We've got to get everybody to realize that wake up, okay? It's not, don't come out of your nightmare. Wake the hell up and get into action for the sake of you, your family, your grandchildren, and our children's children.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
Okay, the peace ambassador is for people that want to see that their family and themselves are protected.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the reason why we look at it as that being cheap. Okay, if you could call it cheap. Also, we're looking at people that is scared to have some kind of protection. All right. When it comes to stepping up to the gap, this is where the calling is. That's where we do the vetting. Okay, because the peace ambassador is for more citizens and, you know, just to help the normal public. But when you step up to become a GAD, now you're stepping into shoes where you are now responsible for humanity. Okay, and you have to step it up, and we vet it very closely. That's why we have NDAs, MOUs in that region. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Understood. Yeah.
We also have our own intelligence department. We have our own due diligence department, special operations department, which Paul will find very interesting. And that's run by James. So if you want to inundate James with questions after this, do that.
Yeah, it's like this. We've had already within the auspices of where we have or that we exist, we've already had 3 infiltrations that we've actually monitored and removed.
Yeah, we have. We let the CIA know that we knew who they were, and please to withdraw your people. And yeah, it's just you're violating international diplomatic laws.
Yeah,
and we haven't heard from them since.
Okay.
We have to be respected, and we are, by the way, at every level. And we don't mind these organizations poking their noses in, but what we say to them is, stop listening into our conversations and come and join us. Yeah, I'll answer any question you have.
Sorry. They also have inalienable human rights. They don't even know it.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much for that. That was really, really good and precise. And I'm glad that there's going to be vetting around us, which is really good. I have one more person with a question. That's Barb.
Okay. You just need to get hold of Fred and just tell him I'm just finishing this.
Really quick. Are we doing just Thursday nights for these meetings, or Thursday nights and Tuesday mornings? Because basically I'll just stay here forever on these meetings. I don't want to go. I don't want to go at all.
Basically, at the moment, I'll answer that actually, Brendan. For the time being, I'm just reverting to Thursday evenings, because Tuesday morning 9 a.m. wasn't suitable for everybody around the globe. So let me have a think about that, and we'll try and put a plan together to actually make it another day, or make another time and date. It's probably be better. Does that answer your question, Barbara?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm putting a plan together, basically, and I'll come back to everybody and let them all know. Great. Well, I think, was something new. Okay. Yeah, well, thanks very much, everybody. But Brendan, I know we're short on time. We've been on for nearly 2 hours, so thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. It's been absolutely wonderful. And Brendan, thank you so much for your explanations and your information, and James as well. and Paul Gunson, welcome to our world, so to speak, and everybody who's spoken as well. Great. I have nothing else to say really, so other than saying good night, everybody in the UK, and good afternoon or good morning, everybody in Australia and any other part of the world. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank
This
you
is a
very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I'm looking
Thanks, guys.
I'm looking to get to the UK as well, so we're going to do a lot of work in the UK. All right.
You're
That'd be
welcome.
brilliant. Yeah. Look forward
I'll
to
pick
that.
you
Yeah.
up from the airport, Brandon. Don't worry.
Thank you, Brendan.
Cheers then, everyone.
Thank you, David.
Have a good day, Brendan.
All right.
Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
Barbara. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
David.
Bye,
Much
everyone.
appreciated.
Welcome.
Bye.